Okay, so I couldn't help myself and I had to do this. So this is from that show Swamp Thing. Fourth episode, 4 minutes into it. 211, 112, and like I've shown you, that's the same number as 9/11. In Europe, 211 is 9/11 here in the United States. So definitely a number to look out for. And someone did find this. I was just playing around in that last video, but it is true. Like someone else did find these series of numbers, but just weren't sure what they meant. And found them, I mean, just as much as 9/11, man. Like it really is. Like the guy found a lot. Like found a lot of it in movies and TV shows. Like it's pretty wild. But I'm the one who thinks that it might be the January 12th of 2020. And there are so many different kinds of calendars. Just like I've been telling you, there's so many different different types of astrology. So while some are saying it won't happen until 2024 or even 2022, there are astrologies or are calendars that say that the Pluto return, meaning Pluto doing a full circle basically in the pie above us, will be January 2020. That's using the solar whole sign, USA clock. But you have your Vedic astrology and Hellenistic astrology and tropical astrology and everything else. So there are different astrologies and calendars saying it'll be 2022 or 2024. But what we can all agree on, so here's what we'll do. Since what we can all agree on is that January 12th, 2020 is, in fact, the Saturn and Pluto conjunction, which I've shown you, I think, last year, how those things are in every major war, huge, huge historical events. That's a fact. Just like the conjunctions, and the one in Saturn and Jupiter in 2020, December 2022. 2020, I mean, as in 2022, meaning also. So there's a Saturn and Pluto conjunction in January 2020. There's the Venus finishing the 5-star dance in June of 2020. And then there's the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction in December of 2020. And then there's also the Mars and Eris conjunction thrown in there somewhere. Can't remember when. Which is also huge. This is just me sharing what I think. Does it mean anything's going to happen? I don't know. But I think so. I honestly do. Just like I think there's going to be a big flare or solar storm in September, October. But maybe not. It's just me that's just what I think. And I think that there's something to the 9/23 date, which really might just be 6/23, which there already has been, because that was when Brexit took place. Which, hey, yeah, look at the voting, how it worked out for them. They voted for it. Have they gotten it yet? I don't know what else more you need, so you can figure out that the voting doesn't. But if it worked, they wouldn't let you do it. But I really do think that there's something to there, another 6/23 or 9/23 event. But we'll see. Like, it's just me, man. It's just me sharing. This is what I really think, though. January 12th is on a Sunday. X-Files says the takeover will start on a Friday. They'll declare a banking holiday. So that's interesting to me. Because the 12th, the conjunction's on a Sunday. So they could very well, and they've been showing I've shown you the Friday stuff. How it really seems like Friday is going to be, some Friday sometime is a big deal. Because there's so many different, there's even songs and movies, like there's only, there's a whole series, Friday, right, with Ice Cube. Hey, it's Friday, I'm in love, which Friday is Venus, that's why The Cure does that, but said that. But there's also, Friday mentioned a bunch of times. So I don't know, that's interesting, and I'm just going to listen to the X-Files because, after all, the X-Files is the one that 6 months before it happened said terrorists were going to hijack airplanes and crash them into the World Trade Center. That's a fact, no matter how you want to swing it. Like, that's what that show said, and that is exactly what happened 6 months later. That's a fact. You can find the clip on YouTube. That's not conspiracy. That's not speculation. That's either coincidence in your mind or proof that this is bullshit. That's all that is, guys. That's what that's it. That is everything right there. Don't even worry about this 211 that you're looking at. That's what it all comes down to. Was the X-Files 6 months? Was the X-Files in March of 2001 when they said Terrorists are going to hijack airplanes and crash them into the World Trade Center. That's what they said. If you don't know this, pause this clip, go to YouTube, type in the Lone Gunman 9/11 The X-Files. Watch that and research it. Research the episode and find out when it aired. Go on the internet and look that up and Google that and find that for yourself. And find I am not making that up. That is exactly what happened. But that's what it all comes down to, guys. When they said that, and when that aired in March of 2001, and 6 months later, that exact event happened. Was that coincidence, or was that planned? That's all we're arguing about. That's it. It's amazing. So we'll see if we have any more coincidences with next year period. Because holy cow, and I've shown you before too, remember this? I don't know, I mean, to anybody who's been watching me for a while, the whole 2020 vision thing, that's a meme. That's something they put in our heads to say for our, it's just a meme. It's planning, I think. It's predictive programming, because I've shown you from the American Ophthalmology Institute, like the spokesperson or the main institute that represents ophthalmology, they said the 2020 vision isn't like, it's not really ideal. It's not really what you want. And that's what we've been told our whole lives. You want 2020 vision. Like, it's all been a meme to prepare us for next year. I really think that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, man, because I just don't really see any reason to keep getting on here and banging on these dates or next year or anything. Like, these last 6 months of the Federal Reserve and we're going to hike rates to we're going to cut rates is the biggest joke I've ever seen. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. I've got no economic background, but I've nailed this straight up since 2017. Anyone who's been watching me will tell you, yep, it's true. I told you exactly 2 years ago, from as soon as that Trump bump started getting reported. No, guys, that's bullshit. That's the trap, and here's why. Because if that's the case and this place is doing so much better, then there should be no trouble raising rates. But guess what? When they start raising rates, it's going to cause a problem because they know it's bullshit, and then they're going to be in this weird position of having to cut rates right after they were talking about raising rates, and they're going to look like idiots. Like, I have said this word for word 2 years ago. And then that means we're out of steam, because then that means you're all out of options, and now you're going to have to devalue, reset, or whatever's going to happen. That's the truth, guys. I've done that. It's all documented. It's all on here. 100% fact. So I think change is coming next year. Whether it's January, whether it's June, whether it's December. So this is my last video for a while, probably till next year maybe. Unless, I don't know, we'll see, because this is my favorite thing. We can't agree on anything. And people call this Farmageddon, this flooding, like fear porn. And I'm literally seeing just as much stuff that says that it's trouble and what the effects of it are. Just as much saying this is blown way out of proportion, and what's happened is nothing more than what's happened before, and this will have no effect on pricing of anything in the future, period. This is all blown out of proportion. It's not what people think it is. It will not affect prices like people think. There will be little to no effect on pricing in the future. That's what I've seen. So we're going to find out. And I just don't, I don't know if I agree with that, because we just want to, we live in the St. Louis area on the Illinois side, and we just went over the bridge last week, and it's still completely flooded out. Like, it's insane. You still can't go to places that you normally could go to because it's still flooded out. We were only 2 feet away from the 1993 record. So I guess that's all a hoax too, but it doesn't really feel like it or look like it when you're driving and looking right at it. But we're going to find out. So, and our gas tax kicks in 2 days, which is great. A doubled gas tax from 19 to 38 cents. So I don't really see any reason to come out here and point stuff out anymore, because if you can't see it by now, I think you will next year. I'm going to do more of like journalism, I think, because that just like, hey, look at what I saw today. Because I just think it's going to be crazy, and I think I'm going to get shown some crazy shit. So I mean, and I've learned a lot of stuff that I'm just going to keep to myself because I think there's things that people need to learn for themselves. I wish I could share it, but no one really cares. There's just so much invested in racism. There's just nothing you can do about it, which sucks because it's all so simple and so funny. Even if although it's disgusting and tragic and all that shit too, but it's so there's just things you just can't share because people just don't really want to know. And if they do want to know them, then they got to find it for themselves. So the stuff that I've learned, I don't want to share, and I don't see any reason to come on here and to continue beating a dead horse and pointing all these things out that everyone else has pointed out to for the most part. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like I've shared what I wanted. I'm at the point where I've shared what I wanted to share, and I'll be back whenever I've got something to show you. That's how, yeah, that's where we're going to leave it. I'll be back when I've got something to show you. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that.